Yanante na yamo komo higher sport GHL YouTube nyamia doma sanso anyway she of course this is as usual back to back latest sports updates and then some of the so what we're going to do is that na say we come back again of course stories and those as I said in the bar. Okay, so let me start with Barcelona because I know a program called so 125 years we last summit we'll talk about that and in MSC Camp no own say paying for AAC 105,000 capacity. Now this is the arrangement. We've already told you about the first game on Bilbao award the one Gampa Cup, which is against Como. We've told you about that. But I am Helena Fort or Casano. Now I say you best start say they are looking at, and again, this construction into the BBA, but this is the plan of the board. They are looking at starting with 60,000. Nyamia Duma, the third stand, asoro no. Omube bia, mate say ebia, ye kwa ye ni munua, no be the second phase. And so mu bie top one na na ba move from 60,000 to 90,000 capacity. Now, the last one, they be ending 105. 105 now. Almost say they are looking at bare 2027. Hey, and wow. Go 2027. Almost say I know now. Omenya time a rufu esrono. Some person will rufu srona esrono so eye kama. And again, these are the plans of the board. It could be that it might delay. It could be. Will be fast. Ni nyina no omo plans omo de aba beto dwa. Nti omo se roofing no person omo we tre na omo ye ne. If you do remember Laporta now saying Orca Stadium no one summer he keeps on telling us say stadium way enye nkofo ni de ni be Orca no twa Madrid for them poa. So person omo nya time no omo ye stadium no to the modern stadium, and this is what he normally refers to this Barcelona stadium. Internet offer Barcelona area or major newspapers. Now for instance and there Les Sportifs or say heading home, of course, Barcelona. Ebe ko omufie and omutwa ede ato says say arrangements I don't want some ede buy no omo capture sports newspaper also say Keller Pride, and again Bebeka interviewer one Laporta and also I with regard to nema ekoso and no interview no papa do ko gina support empenyufo na nim socials ne board for na nim no komo esan so course no but one some so e dey e brosisia but top one sports one match Keller Pride Madrid for gamer omo bebo won so asem ha sports so a capture kama right mundo so saying mundo so a capture that 60,000 na ye ma me Helena Fort e kan no 60,000 for the one gamper. 60,000 for the one camper. Well, Laporta and Okansambebre ye betchemu bi because I can't beat me the 40 minutes I can't but and also be buying to me ye betchemu sa also I saw that Deco as a passer Deco with me forming a very competitive squad. Or say the mixture of Enquadano any place kakra omato and a team no so represent the region Catalonia hono inti oda Deco asiye person say djuma de Deco abobi ye pa I don't say here Barcelona nso so enda omuntem ene Madrid for no say omo Barcelona for no omo timi mixe nkwada no any that of mpanyifo no Madrid for do full so go to me into almost sorry I no mo to place left right center nya say any Rally football club omo no football club no omo nya botre nc etimi to talk a crave no more from kwada ni bebre formula masem so sa na Rally football sa na we senka big club bia enso so etimi eye nti no yen some Laporta nsam na de chao na papa na keka mami kom na fe yembo nkomo ni bebre o say look what it is amanfo ni bi esusu say sene Barcelona na say wa mutimi kire o musika se mu no nti no nka club no omonton parts e bia 50% yan fama individual na nkankai no enye with the socials in Tibia socials owns 50%, nanka individual be only 50%, ebia investor be an answer Saudi for be what I say some nanko for can be a beka Sabia on Barcelona year. Or some kofubi person yes I know take over football club no crown no win again. Send a club no SCA members Canadian, SCA social Canadian forever it should be. As I said, it's me socials for them. Am I one day be crying now? Sorry, say invest me by top Barcelona or send yes, NSSA. So far, they are able to run football club. No, say and yeah, football club on crowd. We are multi sports. Running other. Sports activities. My dear, successful. In today, in Tipa, no, we be say, I was a club, no, almost pro, no, Muntoma, will be full. So, saying, David, also be a Sabiano. Club, no, you're on pay. Let's move on. Nafe, Yamon Komokakra, Master Sarah Mayoka for head coach, and Rasente. On one Casacasa for foreign friend Barcelona player, friend Pablo Torres say, Obebo Pesora no Mayuka, what's a Benfica, Celta Vigo, clubs I would the Valencia winning now air boy, and name already you feel a boy and about Mayuka, Obe 1 year pa, in see, commodity. I start to because I to say, Ansu Fati Dianoa, Papa out of Huta. Who tanka safa for the fray Ansu Fati convincing say, Oba, a beboy ye pan. I mean, similar formula. And on person far Pablo Torres. Already good. I've told you, Barcelona would like to extend his contract then. Nafi, Omama so ako loan because Barcelona feels that by the stolen one that you be Eddie Barcelona. Manchester City so drew Orlando, and of course, the big game is going to come on. Yeah, interviews across Pep Guardiola on a swatch and some and then Central Phone be sent a lot of questions. Pep Guardiola say it is obvious to say whether or not it is affecting a lot of the clubs. So South America for no, or feel said they have little advantage. Because say most of the South American teams, they were playing the season and on my post and on mobile in terms of a sharp kakra and the rest of the continent. But so saying it is okay. Baby crop Bobo Mercedes Benz Arena, what the fool say a year against Juventus no a year what than a kakra and Kobisan and say until Roger free trade in it say so far on a full set plan of the Mount Rodri no and one of the Dimuka cracker say about 2 or 3 days to wash Rodri on complaining send a 9 million kakra since a previous time no man about kakra obey as a naughty pains kakra what ha but I say about 3 or 4 days in the Rodri and complaining bias and so feel say or you're in the right path and on the right path and kakra he's heading towards where he wants Rodri to be in the other problem being where I'm for and I'm pressure say chinchina Rodri Bobo ni bi and we come sansa what to say FIFA Club World Cup from paying for no at the 3-match ban at the Rico Luis what is answer and also what it na onim and now no just a tackle or young for complaining or some refuse no or you sure so omunim Rico Luis omunim how nice Rico Luis also Rico Luis on said that yet to say okupra boy no na pictures na circulating no or social picture now begging say boy no bad intention towards the players okupra no say enter sa ba kokra but e jama for na after that picture no ediaba into some referees name how nice Rico Luis Eya and in penny for him how nice and Rico Luis Eya and come fast our band and farm say Pep Guardiola pass and okay. Now there's a referee and I was say and I say they need to know how someone a young son or manekada now it is the tackle we are talking about. Whether a bad intention, whether your bad intention, he got him and that's supposed to be punished. Hey. Master, I'll punish you now, no. I'm ready, I do. Maybe I would him say, you're sitting, but if you tie, straightforward. Master, Pep, go sit down. Anyway, Pep Guardiola say, Claudio Echeverri, a plano with pranum, or between 2 to 3 weeks. I say 2 to 3 weeks now, Claudio Echeverri. And so I'm going to say Ederson, the future to say, we free club with more quite so bet was so, our Manchester City also already. On your two also onim Pep Guardiola. Wow player. Unimo also onimo. Also onim. Name of the way Tinya can say he's extremely delighted about so far training at Ederson and Jimono Moody or say he cannot discount what this guy has done for Manchester City since about Manchester City. Until we play the role now. Transfers and somebody on Ojai at the man paying for what I say. I know and someone also kind of saw no all back club World Cup no now or catch a place and they say yes they want to be competitive, yes they want to win this tournament, yes they want to improve their foot style of play. Name them catch almost say bono say a boy now say your hotel will be at me so you be because it is also time for the players to enjoy. It's also place no so Joe my home enjoy so person go golf or so go beach. Yeah, the upper so we be though this tournament is competitive. But I was a place so soon time. No so me etimi eju mani kakra. E san say e pre-season ni mu no so e wo nam se yo Pep Guardiola ya say na no a Manchester City e say 6-0 no. Yes, results ni yet but also ohuni mani bebre. And ni anje ho or say e normal because we fan say afei and the boys no so etsi niema ni biase but also mo yemfumso bebria na ni hu kwan say sanfumso no so esi e wo game ni mo san say entwa ye ano ensema Pep Guardiola enso e kamamento so Lautaro Martinez and mo ko bi san say wunipa on in for the same cruise Argentina ni Franco Mostantuano abranta ne eba Real Madrid na wati na asabe na wo kan fa sa boy no and also wati oya aware wa frɛ boy no one boy na kasa wa congratulate boy ne say yeah, why ya dear pass over Madrid or so ya kwada boy ni bo inte we say nya go trade man na onyi na o develop yes and say potentials na de e wo ho na mo bia mfa pressure mfa to akwada no so yenyan no na boy no susu enyi esan say onyi a e betimi aboa obia well matter say Real Madrid for dressing room no mo nyina show support e de ama apprentice for Raul Asensio say born now boy you know da so woni mu gidie e yam from so na say elba enti kwan bia so be fa so support Raul Asensio amanetimi see the that day no of course they are going to do it make Madrid in 7 Madrid there already on my land and Madrid flight they delay by 10 minutes sorry by almost 1 hour but eventually they were able to head to Philadelphia of course on full plane you know na Thibaut Courtois Lunin Frank Gonzalez, where your goalkeepers are now playing with Trent Alexander-Arnold, Lucas Vázquez, Fran Garcia, Antonio Rudiger, Dean Howson, Josef, Ramon Jacobo, midfielders, Jude Bellingham, Fede Valverde, Luka Modric, Aurelien Tchouameni, Arda Güler, Dani Ceballos, Kema, Mario Martin, and Nimwafoni, Vinicius Junior, Rodrigo Goes, Brahim Diaz, Gonzalo, and Victor Munoz, into way. Players are so far. Almost not playing Mama Drew Kama they are heading, and of course Madrid will play against Salzburg. Into here, boys, lady, Omalan they come on do you know players in Bebre, Gonzalo Garcia, for instance, or John Sancho for original, and I'm on the Casa Gonzalo Garcia. And I'm so what to say, I'm on for say we a hostelu type, maybe, but no say they name but name when your body be bar, we do we a hostelu crap, was 7 hours on energy, say. Eja hostelu kra no ebo na ba so no role model hostelu I don't be say Madrid no we sure say obetna na say obeko and I say ni nyina ba begina eja coach no and the club no so also no all training very hard so be convince Jabi Alonso say Jabi Alonso eminent na bobuku no minimum say Jabi Alonso feel say also kwa obeko so sort na so bet no so no we pictures of Jabi Alonso na also Real Madrid this year na all bobo say sad and it convince a lot to him as a player say I was say okuta the values of Real Madrid yes and say coach no kra o kire na de no obo sa club ni boni yi inte say ono na osua no so dey nti no be relax o say that be ni abriye papa afa so or say important to say as long as we shall Real Madrid just no be give you all or say they want to compete for the Club World Cup non possibly almost so etimi ajo say na nsen kra no a onye opportunity kakrai he among for eman fans ye pa what as Bobo Madrid kakrai oye e otwamu koye Gonzalo Garcia ono so say na nsen course or say onya course pa no bisa say course be na eba Gonzalo Garcia say na no ye ya or start say obobo ni bi no also ho na na for friend no for cromon friend family and friends be a friend born about say master say one original Real Madrid for number 9 you say course na say ye ba no so nya asam ketwa nebo or say ono as long as say only opportunity no obe try no ayire no wan we lead Madrid ama Madrid so etimi akwaje the Club World Cup no say ono any idea say isi ni so person you competitive and help Madrid to the Club World Cup course well anyway Jabi Alonso betina say no questions no left right center ko bi san say follow Mendy no one summit say follow Mendy there the wetimi aka so be here time kakra or say one mpanyifo ni bi kasa boy ni or recover quickly nemum obehia more time to recover inti nya botre farmer follow Mendy is san say the recovery no egu so ko bi san say na Jabi abrant say Kylian Mbappe, you must have training. Now, on also so no one summit to say, and also seeing Kylian Mbappe back to training. Also, we won't say the shape, gradually he's getting the name. Onye fully fit enough to play their game against Salzburg because they have been doing Drew Afi and now Oye in training kakra say he is still in the recovery stage in Tienya Butre and former Kylian Mbappe. Kobi Sansana Kamavinga, mobile town one answer still and what faith El Kamavinga mo. And also Kamavinga is a top class player and we will need him. Case closed. And to Jabi Alonso say we will need Jabi. You may hear Kamavinga. I'm so okay, no problem. And I'm saying Brahim Diaz so new role our team no to say us Brahim Diaz openasem or yes someone which na there and check no we or say Brahim Diaz is one of those players the last 30 minutes will be Gina Park so or Timis and some bia or park no suntono or you're very happy with what he has seen with Brahim Diaz and Kobi Sanse say what can Brahim Diaz say was so by Manatni Brahim Diaz Rodrigo Goes Monstantuando sa players muni never na say likely say Barca obefi club with Muako and I say Dabi or are you happy with the players or on board today? It's say next season they are going to play about 50 to 60 games. Into games not dosu yepa. Into you will need at least quality players around to compete with about 60 games no bebono. It's already on to me kasi be about Kobeko and answer back. Nebum do bet me can say games not dosu for the season and also a down when him. And I'm going to say the Club World Cup and so far waban also the level of the Club World Cup. One is saying and I'll say a good part of European clubs and say they are beginning to know say there are other good teams outside Europe or say almost style of play different into European clubs in Asia and so say how do we adapt to different style of play because they are used to the European style of play or say other teams in the air bubble and now also River Plate he was very impressed with how River Plate for no and so a ball pa and I'm saying no problem and Jabi Alonso say Real Madrid are the most prestigious club in the world. I say history ne kasa at the mono. A time will be ano. Where Madrid now so you coach you, so you play you. I was a so and now parts of the history. Into no as a player he did his parts. Of course as a coach he's trying as much as possible. Say also ebe make it. Also part of the history on the coaching aspects. I'm so cool, no problem. And Mukobi-san say. How is your idea about defending? I can say defending now. What idea about defending here then? And also, on the style of play, we kind of several times say to defend. I was a players 11 in no, and a competitive. As a 11 players in a defender, or say the more the entire team defends as a unit, you know, and a what team so see Vinicius Junior, Jude Bellingham, Freddie Valverde, Kylian Mbappe, Obia, best starter Real Madrid press, you know. And was so many competitive. No, we defending very well because once they do that, of course, I bet what team in the year pa. And I'm yo, yet and I'm coming say, we play now in the world by Leverkusen, Pierre and Kaipe, yet say, number open over Madrid. And also on own team about interest. Say Madrid for we're interested in this player. As long as a player in your Madrid played or on team kasa. Name on lots of respect Edema Pierre and Kaipe. So ubi sa boy in one kasa one someone. Or bet me and some say on the ball or he list or your player on for details in Niagara. But 704 it show interest and answer first no more interest needed. Or say on to me enka. And I'm okay, coach Yati. Yati. Na players ni be mu pride no ho asem to say Alaba the situation to say. And say Alaba pride ni e be check kakra. Nti no yema Alaba space kakra na on recover. See asemo. On me say about Salzburg game, was Salzburg for the onimomo ono omo border but so betimi aka say the Salzburg team no omo boy no say enye the same Salzburg ni. It's say completely Salzburg so much signing new players be on the Club World Cup no into ontimi kasa chin ya oni mo sa pay Arsenal so ya catch us Christian Nogard there of course Arsenal last signing no ono anope matter some instructing say betin akọ na on Arsenal for akọ medicals no of course they say Martin Zubimendi so ba na say yenu Thomas Partey ni there of course he didn't kan say ofi club no so akwenti Nogard fantastic and medicals now for the Obiano I think say will be done and answers are Anyway, Philippe Melo, hey, and anybody? Wow. Melo no say oh Ronaldo, sorry, Messi picture ne demo won say the background wo and sa picture we trending pa. O say the inti the ball ho say ja ni ba susu be hu ni man be hu say yes, oni Messi e bobo. O say the bia ne grandchildren crave bisa master. Na oni akwa we bobo and na utwitwa ne sad. O say man good memories anyway. Club World Cup na e so far no. After today round of 16th the Ashishe ko wienie Palmeiras and Botafogo, Benfica and Chelsea, Inter Milan and Fluminense, PSG, Inter Miami, Flamengo, Bayern Munich, Dortmund and Montreal. In the again we expected say City, Juventus, Real Madrid, Salzburg, and so will be done. And then now for ya clear no crano. Bisa Jabi Alonso about it to say when the City never sounds so about you. Na sanko for mummy and taste too much. And I say oh no, you only say Madrid for ever share against Salzburg. And it's a City for so be share. Of course they can avoid Manchester City, but oh no, what do bet me a show in and so more message no me the first group with them. Well anyway, say Club World Cup Africa teams in you free mu Alali Anyeye. Without Anyeye, Sundowns Anyeye, Esperance Anyeye, Club first say South America for no so Argentina for Boca Juniors Anyeye, River Plate Anyeye, Brazil for no muko winning. But I said Brazil for no they a solid team. I'm not surprised they are playing at this level. Omni body brutal. Anyway, Tottenham for so a release omo away jersey Eddie Ababon thing. See official Tottenham away jersey here. Almost be share and almost release the Eddie Ababon. Think come. Chelsea coach say, Sa Kodana if Andrew Santos na man for man pressure say, all my boy ni Mbobi no say after the boy ni Asian Chelsea for style of play. In the time, I say boy do be more training. Just so training be brave with the team to understand how Chelsea plays their football. Or say completely different from how other teams play. You know, yenya bo train from any sort time boy no. E abo train. Nyemre so an ono so be bobo ni bi. Oscar Bob. Also expected to be more minutes above Manchester City. On so we feel Manchester City Bobo could me say on so try now at least the chance of being no on also a bobo a man penny for so any gentleman to us so City Bobo could means also no dear or trying on himself last year a prana hand yepa neighbor the chances he is going to get this time around Robert me utilize it now for you on what's na Bobo could yo yati anyway Chelsea for so you said Jimmy Giddens no ono na your priority into Garnacho no dear any abrantia na Liverpool for air pen Maliki for Fana no omumienu other options but Jimmy Giddens and the Kianeke and no crown no matter say Chelsea will again revisit the Jimmy Giddens conversation to say hey Eddie has some cranny ade ba ko ekoso US and say yes no mo who post for say eja omo guard dia post for Dr. Kramai no docs no ya show mo crocs omo shampabo ade ya omo say ewia no just I know too much into Kramai create mo bre say yes we pa asabo and Paris Saint-Germain any bomb of Besançon Asia Elias Zabanya Besançon Asia and Zamanyi in common no eya doso PSG for the bomb of force yantiase PSG for say the away ni and common eya doso too much anyway Victor Gyökeres there's a story from Team Talk for almost also related to Man U for kakra. Now almost say boy na san so catch Man U for sa video nya obebo. Anya boy ya na ko catch Man U for say onwe. Em say Gyökeres ne nko for no more hard dream market ni mu too much. And then the boy ne nam ha watch aden. It is too much player. What she go se kese and so de bia ye de ne na as if say be your ordinary player. What is that? Oh, Gyökeres ne nko for the media. Ya bremokra and they say or china say and then on the name club ha it is too much. Inti that is the story say United for ni pa komunye wa de hwe Lami Yamal won say the amount for Lami Yamal ndi Barcelona lady ba ko ye fed ni Sydney mbom man ni bo ni bu ana Lami Yamal ko twere wo girl in fact ni girl ni IG ni comment section ase girl ni post picture na ho fe pa o hwe girl na da wana ana Lami Yamal the fire emoji at the koto and I'm comfort say hey what is said yen you wouldn't o mahu yen you wouldn't o mahu bako cry. I don't go miss a girl and say master why when we say la me yama we post the baby and I'm on for say hey la me yama de isuro and I say I'm on for nyaisa la me yama cry we share no bako bi pe or so share no Adidas event bi ase. What I say, just short we be omushia here no an papa on share on say the ni share one on one be asa. What I say I'm on for just say na I'm on for pay you remu too much or say it say share the just once I'm on for say that. And Ghana say Ghana try church or chiman ko for say that or say Ghana say we don't see each other much because we are relatively separated. The women have their own area and their own gym, and I'm often at the La Masia. If anything, you might bump into someone at the medical center. And you know, I get asked them, okay, they me so many girl they say we cry this year. ABI medical center wanna be your money, be money bit me ko show. Na in some amount for keke, one for say WW la media. Yan di back cry. Charlie Matter said Dembele. Oh, Pusha said Obey fully fit to play the Inter Miami game. Akwe we mini Messi ana. Say Messi ni omo be born dey afide why fit obebo born bi. Enti ye say whether will be fit enough to play that game you be say we be at 17 but what's for former head coach your fan Rob Page matter say Liverpool for no afa na dwuma na minim class for be commenting because Wales coach there you saw call Liverpool for under 21. Liverpool's under 21. Wow. Anyway, my to us where my first stories number Marcus Thuram say, share one bad game. It cannot define what Inter Milan did last season. Or say Champions League and some drew final. I'm share Bayern Munich. I'm share Barcelona. If they have in fact they had a bad game against Paris Saint-Germain and just say Inter Milan season here bad. We share one for say no musi treat Inter Milan or say ana on think of was also one bad game we pay. What a sense of for afa some giddy so no nya adwemo amoye sa ne ma no Maicon say a kind of right back Brazil Inter Milan for right back or say best player we share na and so ne ball or your best player we ball pa o kan mu no talent there Adrino obi ento obetimi ato Adrino and no be say player we share ya wo bre pa ye wan or say ne de obeka Messi asa quality omo wo say Messi hey o twa no ade no oba or train na wo pem no na oba or say dabi or say Sadia na Messi or yet no for 15 years Messi did that straight at the highest level or say kwani ni ball too much hey Marcus Martinelli what kind Martinelli former Chelsea for reserve goalkeeper they say your Manchester City now no ti asem wakoken or say Manchester City efrel say beda goal edemana or say yeah, then as I saw prepare Honko, it's said the opportunity to work with winners. He calls Manchester City winners. So winners. They are now ope. Into City for one na new home back me nukra na was say otutu mika na okwada go edema Manchester City. Also no what's not London sir but City buy no na say o take a decision because at least to work with Manchester City and the winning mentality of Manchester City now he wanted to be part of it and you know decided so kind of Chelsea for the master for us free oko we cry no go now debi why we reserve goalkeeper no o be kick and say we say adan you winners we asem almost one for now say me fi okra nko still Roma for tata yes say Jean-Pierre Gasperini ono akasa ka che ne mpanyimfo say omne Liverpool for nkasa o mate say Federico Chiesa Napoli for na pe no so Roma for very much interested mate say Liverpool for the almost say 10.25 million no po 10 million pounds cash down now the bear 2.5 add-ons be ediaba essence come fan no sasika no anon peso omoji enti so we are very much interested now the sasika na ba boy ne ka so bebo the amamumu Roma nam susu metu sika na dey senka asem ye no Liverpool die omo willing to get a deal done meanwhile for Darwin Nunez die the Mets say sika sam no ya akopiem 38 million pounds plus add-ons of about 4 million pounds add-ons Napoli and Liverpool for gusu and come on you say akona nimu pa Yes, paperwork will be concluded. Senebeya, Darwin Nunez can get his move. Nick Vortamendi, a Stuttgart for Germany national team striker, under 21 striker, very good player. And I'm saying, I'm on for Bonnie Dimpa, no crano, now I'm on for linking it to Real Madrid. It's a Madrid for very much interested in this particular guy. Only say Madrid for per player or what? Yeah, body them you mobility me up him, but as a matter of making any intention behind, but just that they've watched him, they like his style of play, but they've not made any, deal be I say or more airpen. But for Bayern Munich, you said Bayern Munich for no, January more baby, they wanted to pursue this boy. But if it's January, and almost Samsung contacted Stuttgart, and Samsung contacted club Mubia, what's I saying for now, it is what it is. You go so a year train. Bayern Munich for catcher Celta Vigo for say loan no amodeba for Brian Zaragoza no omope loan as sika count and yes I will be loan free sir afi so sa option no dey share contract no omope obligation. It is Zaragoza for no Samsung review. Okay, Rafinha na no sia kan edema Bayern Munich no about Flamengo pay. And as I for say Bayern and Flamengo games is obedient. Over Bayern Munich for no amomo futu about Flamengo and answer be Flamengo for so amomo futu about Bayern Munich ti ugina hin. And I say Drew I'll be doing the phone. Also I'm passing bia okoka say boy mo answer nchiro fu imagine na no esi bone. Also be doing the phone kura on Frobia because Bayern Munich no bobo che of spend about 8.5 years Flamengo so he was happy playing the or now for 4 Bayern Munich or now for 4 Flamengo but only bibiaka. What I say? Uncle can't be an months and for. Or say, Drew, I'll pay for to be a friend one will do on the phone. On pen of some cry. Laporta say, says, Omguso, 1:1, Omguso, Muyam Wejuma, or some set perimeters, and Omguso, and Chekra, Barcelona bedrew sal level. No, I'm coming and sending Nico Williams dealing with Sokosi, and also unca about individual names or mope. Na, or say, Omuguso, or mope place, nibi, but say, individually or backup players no one no straight and the crown we jai Eddie Ama sporting director no and Mukobi said they say ye be sasa say Bilbao for no say omo ba be report some the Ama La Liga for no and also omo Bilbao for no good relationship na as a issue way and as a creative relation creative problems e dey to on Bilbao for no but I say on the of you say asem we enya asem we say Bilbao for the fast some ema asem ye bufu some gidi biasa I say with all due respect or respected the Bilbao for no I misunderstanding number but say o kwakọ report Barcelona say Barcelona say asem no yenko hwehwem ne de o say obi endi ne lemu o say obi endi ne lemu with all due respect omo respect on because omo need any bo pa de mo pa but obi endi ni name ye ma me Helena Font and I tell say na no UEFA for eba company to say dem re ye be story no so mo buy na UEFA for no e catch omo Barcelona so me very much impressed with what Barcelona for it's me I or say UEFA for no bomb baso ye pass djuma na e koso e wa company no omo ni agye no currently no person will be 60,000 for the meantime wa so mo ko omo ni na fe omo biem kakran nti I say one gampa na de omo de omo plans say enche o metimi ayesa well Barcelona Jesse no commercial next season no matter so officially omo say omo start say aton no on Wednesday 2nd of July and omo say officially omo biem e omo store say omo biem say yento well and o somewhere no so epie ho ba one Laporta say Ansu Fati say bibia go as planned obeko Monaco in krata say ni aka say obe join Monaco no sin krata na kitikiti bi sign is one of few things be nti boy ni benyako ne club na aja Monaco no akodo no wakowehye also wehye all the best say eba so omuvu akowa Milos Keke so the aka no official announcement say na answer documentation no na delay kakra nti for now what is left is with the official announcement. Pep Guardiola say Osra Manchester City in kwada no one for one ko US and say the initial plan was that now the 10 youth team for ne be ko US ni bi so or say team no mo do too much also no mo do so into the 10 players so come on as a hobe bebre ono so mpe chu bebre ka into say Osra kwada no mo fa the ball in check what I say because on one cast and code bebre ebe call but maybe there's also a story about Manchester City and Chelsea having a look at what is happening at what Ter Stegen when I'm semester way Chelsea na be open City more attention will be, but well, anyway, I'm not too sure this is going to happen anyway. And the story I'm going to name is almost a kepa. Hey, and I know I'll call Chelsea could get Champions League, and I know I'll call Madrid the Champions League into about Arsenal. They are far. It was a fast as also. I kepa. Maybe you could be a club in the Champions League. Whether so do so on the team in the Champions League into a few way there. Our fans, hey, sir. Okay, so we catch us a Juma Bar, Manchester City acquired Anobeko Nice Uncle Olympic Lyon mum. Well, anyway, it is true because say Nice for the officially. Omo announce a boy in the kama. Alvaro Fernandez, a defender, Madrid for a penal. And now Sancho for AB San Semester. Afedi nyao kamuno kre. Madrid no benyako. And also currently, the attention no our Club World Cup no. Or see bibia fine with the Club World Cup. The boy we are now fe we drain the future to on Madrid as some no. Make a Club World Cup and some when him say Chelsea for the no jubilate is so fast the crowd mania from the Club World Cup no. 36.5 million pounds. Sasika no. A dorsal cratching se come the Coto Leandelap. In Tiavan say the Club World Cup sika need share for Leandelap into as a baby. Hey, Chelsea for some of the South Club World Cup can only a TNT where the issue be any hope you what I say. Arsenal for no said the Intia. Obufu say Partey leaving, Jorginho leaving ni ese kasem because say Partey ni Jorginho. Omo ana na what should be a omo no create me take care about 310,000 pounds. But Zubimendi, I likely say be on man be 100,000 pounds. No guard there no a bear 40 to 50. So you can imagine omumi 150 inka Jorginho Partey about bear 310. That's now full say in terms of sikasemu they've taken the right decision. I'm saying right decision say no crash and no crash park and so na be chiru here wa. Meanwhile Galatasaray what him say last week mo baby I'm the bid kole Ekoma Napoli for reject. You say 62.5 million euros Napoli for reject. Now Napoli for what 62 day. Manje. I'm some 75. I'm say, hey, I ask some more 75. They said, and yes, some kids. I'm some this as cano koi pa anko for no. I'm coming to some be manje. Davide Fratesi. Well, what I've been told, and I say, Fratesi deal, you know. Obenya extended contract because you're saying time land now conventional. Unso no person fi club muko. They were able to convince him as he say Fratesi say obetna club no afi. Ono so atwa. So Benjamin Sesko we follow us na am for semester. Follow we the NHS say follow. They just say atwa no ana. Obese oboboku na. Masa me yenwu. Anyway, Leon format say Europa Cup no mebo bia. Just first of all, omone lega for ni timia kan se me we na face so much shre undertaking say almost kasem no be ye with UEFA for nanya sa club work if I say Europa no kra na ye mombobo ni bi ai ask some they say the aman hunu pa na to Olympic Lyon Miami Olympic Lyon pa di very very sad but sometimes it is what it is. Some Rodri say ni mission ni nyina so be return to the individual level na enkane na owono also so far enyema ekoyi e demand the current crop of Manchester City team but ono aka as a person no obeso drew the level na odru anu ntina say o training very hard or say team ni nyina including Pep Guardiola try I find solutions any mistakes that occurred last year no they are trying to find solutions to those mistakes and so say everyone is on board trying to fix that problem now and also occurs no well Matisse Stefani Pioli omuja 6 million and omudi ja kwan enso ewo el nasa ko for credit na terms the coach will lose dressing room and no time 6 million the man so onko they say oh Jesus and I likely say oba be take edwuma no e de ama el nasa ja Ronaldo ni pa no aba be edwuma me kra el nasa no Matisse Marcelo Brozovic El Shabab for abane so mu penalon yes boy ni de senko so be free club mu akwa mo de no ko Hilal ope say on tina hiva Dabi ono so onko ba Ronaldo say mo amotan no munya abotre enche obejai football no bo ojai football no ba tan na wotan no de kotoa so obetimi atan mo say ojai football no bo not in fear so be tan na tan we and also say some there mo de why my dream said you be a bill, we are CBA so. It is a man with tiny in Amungusunya de Moyen because at the end of it, a bedroom maybe no. You cannot hate him again because Bono, some mobile on him now to feed ya, wouldn't me and tiny bill. Anyway, my main post, I mean, sounds so far for and sounds so emerald because ever sounds fisher.